big changes. I will say, you mentioned the wind, by the way. Here's a look at the gusts we've seen over the last couple of minutes here. 31 miles per hour coming out of Boston, 28 in Nashua, 29 in Norwood. And you'll notice the wind direction. Take a look at the arrows, largely out of the west. That's helped to keep us incredibly warm today. But you'll notice as we look to the regional map that there's a huge difference depending on what part of the Northeast you're in. For example, Boston's still at 88 degrees. Oof, that's toasty for any time of year. 90 in New York versus 64 in Toronto, 58 in Buffalo. What's happening here? Well, you'll notice that really distinct cutoff between the orange and red and the green and yellow. That's where a cold front has started to move across the region. And that front behind it, there's a lot of cooler air. And we will experience that cool air. But in between the warm and the cold, well, we've got some turbulent weather. That front is going to take advantage of all the heat and moisture that we've had and spark some thunderstorms throughout the evening. But most of those storms are incredibly location specific, mainly looking at coastal Connecticut, southern Rhode Island, and we could see one or two pop into southeastern Massachusetts. I'm talking about the South Coast, the Cape, and the islands as we move into tonight. Highest chance of severe weather is for Connecticut, especially considering the timing of those storms. That's where we'll see them earlier in the day versus you can see this is 11 on the clock. And later this evening, we start to see storms move towards southeastern Massachusetts. Considering we're well after sunset and the temperatures have cooled off at this point, there's less fuel for those storms to work with, so they don't look quite as potent. You could still have some thunder and lightning, some heavy rain, but the wind and hail will mainly be contained further to the south and west. As we move into tomorrow and this front slowly gets a move on, we're still looking at a couple of showers on Thursday morning, especially for southeastern Massachusetts. So once again, if you're south of the Pike, especially for the South Shore, the South Coast, the Cape and Islands, you could wake up to a couple drips and drops, not thunderstorms, but showers, something to watch for, and the rest of the day looks relatively gray. On that note, here's the summary of both Thursday and Friday. Little below average and a huge difference from today. We go from the 90s back to the 60s with the cold air settling in after that front. Clouds are pretty stubborn. They're tough to break. It really takes until the later afternoon for us to see those clouds start to shift. Friday will be a little bit sunnier and a touch warmer, right on the money with the numbers for this time of year. Now, as for the weekend, let me just say, Memorial Day weekend is looking a little tricky. It's looking a little unsettled. We have a few cool days. Saturday is the driest looking day on tap, whereas Sunday has the highest chance of rain. So here's the summary of the three-day weekend. Temperatures stay relatively cool for this time of year. Again, low to mid 60s Saturday, right around 60 on Sunday with that higher potential of showers. Maybe a shower or two on Monday. Temperatures, though, rebound back to 70. But if you're wondering when we get some of this summertime warmth back, it is the middle to end of May after all. It's really going to take until the actual end of the month. At that point, we start to see temperatures rebounding. You'll notice at the end of the 7-day, that's when we go from 70 to the mid and upper 70s with more sunshine, I might add, on Tuesday and Wednesday of this coming week. Guys.